Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a whole new episode of Full Steam Ahead. My name is Zoe, and I got my co-host on the other side for the first time. This is a live episode, first time in our 3 years.
Yeah, I think when we did the pre-recordings, we were in the same spot. So it's gonna be our first, like you said, our first live when we're together. When and I'm at, it's great. How have you been so far?
Good, man. I mean, what a journey this has been for us. I mean,
Absolutely.
shout out to Will Korn. You know who you are. We started this thing in college. Our first year, 2022. Obviously, the Astros won the World Series. 23 comes around. We're getting promoted with our Skina. And now here's our first live show at the White Rhino Bar.
Yeah, like I said, I have never lied to you when I said big things coming. We're growing. Shout out to all the people who have helped us grow. Our wives are being patient. Everybody.
Definitely. It's a great experience. Like I said, shout out to the White Rhino Bar, Patio and cocktail bar over here in Houston's EaDo. You know about Houston, Angel?
Of course. Like this bar was like about 5 minute drive. I grew up out here.
Of course. I mean, shoot, it's not that too far from Minute Maid. You could jump on the Metro Rail. This is a great place to go, obviously. Like we were talking about, I mean, it's a great spot. This is the place you want to be for pregame and postgame entertainment. Honestly, this is where you get your pregame, your postgame on. Even during the week, too. It's a great atmosphere to be a part of and get some drinks in after work, after a hard day at work especially. But the biggest thing here is, Angel, it's opening day eve. It is opening day.
Baseball is finally back, and I think most baseball fans have been waiting for this day. I think we have been waiting for this day to get those articles out, to finally use our BBWA card. So we're excited. But before we get started on anything, like Lorenzo said, it's opening day eve. Tomorrow's opening day, and come on down to the White Rhino. They're having an opening day celebration, and it's for a good cause as well. That's always good. They're, when you come in here, you buy some drinks. They're going to be benefiting Leukemia and the Lymphoma Society. So come out, root for your home team. It'll be 3. The game's at 3. It will be at 1:00 start time again. White Rhino Patio and Cocktail Bar. Be here.
Yeah, we really appreciate the hospitality with them being able to do something like this. Like Angel had said, also just want to add on, you can park right the Metro Rail. Like I was saying, I mean, the Metro Rail is just right across the street.
I can see it from right here.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can see it. I mean, we grew up riding the Metro Rail too to some games, as if growing up as a kid. So being able to do that, it's so efficient. You don't have to parking for opening day. I'm guessing it's about probably like $60. Yeah, it has to be. So a very efficient way to get your transportation to the ball game, and coming back, you get to be partying some down, even if it depends on what the scenario is. If it's Astros win or a Yankees win, just come by, get some drinks, get some good food. They got a food truck here as well.
La birria.
La birria. I mean, how about that? So, but Angel, before we get started, what we got on today's show?
Yeah, we have a jam-packed episode again. We were going to talk about the, last episode we had the projections, and this episode we plan to give you those, that full opening day roster, but it hasn't been out yet. So we'll talk a little bit more on Astros Roundup, more Astros news, pitching preview, and I know we had a few fans asked about it, cap or no cap, and then a round of horn to finish us off today. Don't even get it. I was about to say it on to you, but
how about you take it away? Take it away.
Let's do it. Let's start with Astros news. Just yesterday, Justin Verlander threw a 2-inning live open at the Juice Box. He got, as everybody remember, he got hurt early on spring training. So seeing him healthy, Astros fans should be excited. He threw 32 pitches and was throwing around 92, 95 miles per hour. JP said he felt really good. One of the biggest things he was looking at was how he would bounce back after resting between innings. He believed he checked that box. So how huge is this for the Astros?
This is a big step. I mean, this is a guy that you want on your opening day starter. This guy could have been the guy, but obviously, things happen for a reason. You want him to be able to get healthy. If he gets healthy, that's a big thing for the Astros.
Absolutely. And, with the injury problems they have had, you really want, like you said, like you predicted him to be your opening day guy. Unfortunately, the injuries took a toll, but I think the Astros can't wait to have him back on the box. But a bright surprise, and we kind of been talking about his first and all spring training. That's Ronel Blanco. He has earned a starting spot in rotation, and I think the way he pitched in spring it's pretty obvious he was going to make the team, and especially with the injuries, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I think I think if he had the spring he did today and everybody's healthy, and you're really like scratching your head is like, what is he really gonna do? But you know, just like the Astros had last year, next man up mentality, and he did not disappoint. Uh, in his last outing against the Sugarland Space Cowboys, 4.1 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, and 10 strikeouts. And that slider was filthy. I don't know if you saw it. That slider was filthy.
Yeah.
He finished the spring with 2.08 ERA and a 155 on base opponent batting average. And this is per Matt Curran call. Joe Spada said he told Reno Blanco in the dugout after his outing that Blanco won a rotation spot. And what a day it was for Reno Blanco that day actually, because I don't know if y'all guys know, he actually had a baby girl yesterday. So
Oh.
he spent all morning prior to the game at the hospital with his wife, who just had a baby girl, and then comes out and throws 10 strikeouts to secure that spot.
Have a day.
Have a
Just
day.
have a day right
Have
there.
yourself a day.
Announcing your baby girl into this world and then going out and 10 punchies, dude, 10 strikeouts, 4 1/3 inning. I mean, think about that. 4 innings, 3 outs each inning. That's 12 outs, 10 strikeouts. That's unbelievable.
I don't know if you saw Quincy Hamilton take that's hanging slider down the course, but after that he settled in, and that's good because it's not always gonna be a perfect outing on the mound, but seeing him bounce back against Super Feeder and then striking out the side the rest. Yes, these are AAA guys, but if you recall, Super Feeder could have been a major league this year, so it can't take that lightly as well.
Yeah, I mean, this guy is going to be, I think he's going to be a key factor to this rotation this early part of the season. I mean, it's a good thing for the Astros to have all this pitching depth, especially in the starting rotation. We've both kind of bounced around the idea of, is he going to be a starter? Is he going to be a middle relief kind of guy? Well, hey, he's a starter, and I think he's going to take the big step of taking in that 4 spot, that 5 spot in the rotation. I think it's going to be a big role for him coming this season.
Absolutely, and some more Astros making earning a spot in the major leagues. And again, the roster has not been finalized yet. I feel like have your phones handy at around 11 a.m. Today or tomorrow, whenever you're hearing this podcast. Parker Mashinsky, I know that was one of the guys we were talking about last time about could be potential spot. Well, Astros have 2 left-handers now. I think it's been first time they had a left-hander in a while because.
And you remember them Tony Sip days?
Yeah, Tony Sip, and then after that they had to rely on lefty specialist Phil Maton and everything.
Oh yeah.
But Astros left-hand pitcher reliever Parker Mashinsky has made the opening day roster per Ari Alexander, and he just like Reno Blanco. I know it's a smaller sample size because he's a relief pitcher, but he had a great spring too. Pitched in 8 games. Pitched a total of 9 innings and 10 strikeouts. Had a 0 ERA as well. So
that's
impressive.
Good. That's what the Astros need. They need some depth in that middle relief. I mean, if you think about the back end, solidified. We talked about Brian Abreu, Ryan Presley, Josh Hader. I mean, them guys are going to solidify the back end. Somebody needs to step up in that middle relief. And Parker Mashinsky, a left-handed specialist too, as well for the Astros that they can use in certain situations. So I think this is a great spot for Mashinsky to prove that he could continue being able to be that guy.
And then last on Astros news is this was like late afternoon. Astros claimed a former Mariner, Houston Astros claimed right-handed pitcher Ken Murphy off waivers from the Atlanta Braves. So, my bad. Former Atlanta Braves and former Mariner. To make room for him on the 40-man roster, they have placed right-handed pitcher Kendall Graven on 60-day IL, which was expected. He's out for this season, so they're taking up a roster spot. But just give you a little, I know we posted on our Instagram, on Twitter, but just give you a little more info on Murphy. He's 29 years old. Last year, he had a 1.29 ERA. He only allowed 2 runs in 14 innings pitched with 16 strikeouts and a 1.07 whip, and had a 1.09 opponent batting average. Again, that was with the Seattle Mariners, but he didn't pitch in spring training. He still is recovering from a UCL procedure, but he's expected to be back maybe mid-season. Again, he hasn't really pitched a spring training, so just like the Montgomerys, just like the Verlanders, he's going to take some time to get right, get it together.
Yeah, I think it's a good move for the Astros just in case for some depth. I think they need depth to continue in that bullpen role. I mean, that's the biggest thing. We talked about it. If the Astros are going to make the playoffs, they need depth in the pitching. Pitching is going to win games, and adding depth, I'd say, is important. And with Kendall Graven out for the season, put in that 60-day IL, I think it's big for the Astros to bring a guy like this. So I think it's a great move. Great move.
Absolutely.
So, real quick, I mean, we got Astro Ward Craig Blanco showing that dash strength. Yeah, you know a little bit about some dash strength, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, that came in handy. There was some Sunday league practices.
And then Carl Dunn, let's go Astros. Jose Altuve, MVP already. Damn.
Calling it early.
He's calling it early. We haven't even got to our cap and no cap, but hey, that's a strong candidate right there. But Angel, thank you for the Astros news. Let's move on to the preview to the New York Yankees. The Bronx Bombers are going to open in Houston, Texas, at the Juice Box, Minute Maid Park. Man, that's going to be an exciting series. It could possibly be a playoff series for the Astros. They're strong. I mean, they got Juan Soto in the offseason, winter meetings. Aaron Judge, Alex Verdugo. They added some key pieces, I'd say, to their roster. But what right now the biggest plague, I say, with them, it's going to be pitching. Losing Garrett Cole early in the beginning of the season. I mean, that's rough. 2 or 3 months, he was not going to be throwing. So that's a big damper on the starting rotation for the Yanks.
Yeah, absolutely. And like the Astros are a similar spot. But again, the Yankees, just like the Astros, I'm sure have that next man up mentality. They have some guys that are trying to bounce back and should have a strong showing. I think they'll be a really good team. A really good series.
Yeah, I mean, think about it, too. I mean, the AL East is just, my gosh, it's stacked. I mean, Rays, Orioles with the new management, too. Whoo, man. I mean, Birdland should be something special going down the road. But, hey, let's get that preview going with the pitching previews for the Astros. Thursday, you got 3:10 start time. Nestor Cortez, the nasty Nestor. You seen them cleats, them jean cleats.
Right.
I mean,
oh, you know what? It's a joke. I remember.
Nestor Cortez will be for the Yanks. Framber Valdez being on the Astros opening day starter. Was that the third consecutive year in a row that he's going to be with the Astros opening day guy, right?
Yeah, it's 3 years in a row.
3 years in a row. So that is pretty awesome to see for Framber. But Cortez last year had a 5.2 record, 4.97 ERA. He only pitched 12 games, but I mean, he's been dealing with a lot of injuries last season. Obviously, too, if you remember in 2022 in that playoff game, he was battling injuries, and the Yankees couldn't get nothing going. He couldn't get nothing going. So it's going to be interesting to see what he's going to do in his first start on opening day as well. Like we talked about, Framber Valdez, 12-11, 3.45 ERA. And then a little bit more news. National anthem is going to be by Julia Cole. Ceremonial first pitch, Uncle Mike.
Michael Bradley making a comeback.
Michael Brantley, he might be actually throwing and hitting and might be in that outfield position one day. So you never know. Call it a comeback. And then play ball call is 50 Cent. Houstonian, I would say. If you remember what that picture outside the Astrodome. That's pretty cool. But, I mean, what's going to be the keys for Framber Valdez, I would say?
And it was the same keys last year. It's command, control, and command and control of his emotions. I feel is a big part. I think Framber Valdez is an emotional pitcher. So when he's can settle in, he has a good start. He can be dominant. But when you see he gives up runs early, gets low over his head. I think if he can do that, especially with a tough Yankees lineup that has Aaron Judge, Juan Soto, and some pesky hitters out there, I think it's going to be a tough matchup. But with Valdez's stuff, I think he can handle it.
I think it's going to be a key thing for him this season to work with Yainer Diaz, too. First-year catcher, everyday catcher for the Astros. So being able to establish early, get that ground ball especially. I mean, he was one of the ground ball percentage players, high ground ball percentage last year in Major League Baseball. And if he could get that ground ball work in with that strikeout rate, it should be an easy day for Framber Valdez, I say, for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So moving on to Friday, 7:10 start time, we got Carlos Rodon. That's been a name that we haven't heard in a while, man. I haven't seen him pitch for the Yankees in a good while.
Just like Cortez battling injuries as well.
Yeah. And then you got Christian Javier, El Reptil for the Astros. Rodon, real quick, 3.8 record with a 6.85 ERA with a 5.79 FIP. Wow. That's a high-ass number. And then Javier, 10.5 record, 4.56 ERA, 82 earned runs allowed. We're double the past 2 seasons. That's a big thing for Javi. 3-1 this spring training with a 3.72 ERA and a 1.03 WHIP. I think in spring training, Javier kind of, if you've seen the fastball, it looked like it's back on track how it was in 2022. That rising fastball is going to be the key thing for him this season. The Astros are going to need him big time if they're going to continue the success of going back to the playoffs. If he could get going, it should be no problem.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting matchup because you have Javier and Ronaldo. When you hear the record, 10-5, you think he had a good year, but he, I'm sure everyone remembers, he struggled mightily with command, walks, 3-2 counts. So, and Rondon as well, he battled, his injuries and then coming back with his SOS. So it's going to be an interesting matchup. Two pitchers that are trying to come back healthy. Look for this one. could be a potential pitcher's duel because I'm sure both guys are
Ooh.
fresh from opening day, as you can
A
see.
little spicy right there. A
Yeah.
little spicy take, I see.
I'm sure just like their spicy drink over here at the White Rhino. But
Shout
uh,
out to that Tamarimuno.
Tamarindo Mule. Yeah, there you
Mule.
go.
God, I can't even speak right now. Shoot, man. But yeah, I think that's a good hot take. Honestly, being a pitching matchup, both these guys have been struggling to stay healthy. Well, actually, Javi has been healthy. It's
Yeah.
just finding the command. That's going to be the key for Javier is finding that command and making sure that walk rate. I would say keep it at a minimum. Get 1-2 walks. When you get to 3 and over, it's going to be a difficult day for Javi on the bump. 6:15 start time on Saturday for Marcus Stroman in a Yankees uniform.
Show.
The Stro Show. He'll be going against Hunter Brown. Stroman 10-9 record with a 3.95 ERA with the Chicago Cubs last year. Spring training this year, I mean, he's looked good. 1-2 record, 2.61 ERA with a 2.27 opponent batting average. Another guy too that's been battling injuries last year. He's going to be trying to figure it out this year. Remember, I mean, I think his first or second year with the Cubs. I mean, he was dominant. He was one of the dominant pitchers because I had him on my fantasy team. So I kind of have a good idea how he pitched. So for him, it's going to be health. And then Hunter Brown, on the other hand, 11-13 record, 5.09 ERA. Angel, when I put that ERA on this in our outline, I did not expect a 5.09 ERA for Hunter Brown. If you remember the beginning of the season last year, he was lights out. He had a good run for, I believe it was American League Rookie of the Month in the beginning of April or March. So real quick, too, Hunter Brown's had a good spring training as well. He had a 3.0 record, 2.12 ERA, and 17 innings. He had 17 strikeouts. What do you got? What do you got to say for Hunter Brown? I already talked about Javier. What do you think for the Diesel?
I think it's going to be his sophomore year, I guess you can say, right, in the big leagues. And I think he'll have a great year. I know last year, one of my things is that it was kind of the opposite of what I said. I said he'll struggle early, have success later on. But it was actually opposite. He had success early and then struggled down the stretch with arm fatigue. And I think once you do it once, I'm sure he's prepared better in the spring. And I'm sure the Astros had a plan to make sure that fatigue doesn't happen later in the year. So I think he'll have a good season. I'd say overall he'll be one of the consistent pitchers for the Astros this year.
I think he takes that leap and I want to say he takes that next role of being in this rotation. You already know Verlander's already in his early 40s. I mean, possibly he'll be retiring soon. Framber Valdez, we don't know the future of him, his contract. Christian Javier has an extension. Jose Urquidy dealing with arbitration. So this guy has the ability to take that next man mentality, and I would say step up into this rotation because he could be a guy that could be an ace. He could be a guy that could be the number 2 starter in most teams as well. So it's a big year for Hunter Brown. This is going to be his second season pitching in a full season. Obviously, last year he got to experience a first full season in the Nationals uniform. This will be his second full season now.
Absolutely. I mean, I think this is going to be one of the – I know like a few of the X factors that we've been mentioning is like Jeremy Pena, Rafael Machado, but I think Brown could be one of those guys, X factors. You have a good season. He can very kind of carry this rotation. I mean, he has the stuff. He's like a little – honestly – he grew up in Detroit, so he looks up back with Justin Verlander, and who else to learn from than the guy you followed when you were growing up, right? And much less 12 opening day starts, future Hall of Famer. That's gonna be the guy that's gonna be in his ear a lot. So look forward to a bounce back season for Brown.
I mean, they don't call him Mini Verlander for nothing. Everybody kind of compares his mechanics, his rotation, the way he winds up to pitch. I mean, the same mechanics as Justin Verlander.
I would say even the way he carries himself too.
Yeah, exactly too. I mean, I think. Both of them have the same repertoire as well. They're both eager to get on that mound, do whatever they can to help their team. And I think Hunter Brown, I'd say the biggest thing for him is going to be command. If he could get his command down, that curveball especially, you don't leave it hanging up in the air. If you let it hang, they're going to let it bang.
Yeah,
you ever heard that? You heard that before? So big step for Hunter Brown this coming season. And then Sunday, we got a 1:10 start time for Clark Schmidt for the Yankees. And then the Astros is to be determined. But I have to say, what do you think?
My opinion would be Ronel Blanco.
I think it's Ronel Blanco too. Nothing against JP France. I mean, JP France did come into spring training with an injury, so I do think Ronel Blanco is going to be that guy to end that series. But real quick, since we got Clark Schmidt's numbers, he had a 9.9 record, 4.64 ERA for the Yanks. Spring training, he looked good. 1.0 record, 3.18 ERA. Opponent batting average 206. For the Yankees, this guy is the guy, I would say, to step up for them. You've had veterans like Stroman. You have a veteran like Cortez, Rodon as well. Garrett Cole's out. I think Schmidt could be the guy for the Yankees to kind of step up in this series to show that Aaron Boone, like, hey, I could be that guy for you in the long run.
Absolutely, absolutely. And again, both competed hard, both earned their spot. I know you saw JP Franz in the AAA uniform.
Oh yeah. Did you
yes.
see that chin music of Jose Altuve?
The what?
The chin music. You didn't see that ball that almost hit him?
I know, yeah.
Ooh man.
But you see his glove? It has like a picture of
That
the
looks
sunglasses
nice.
and like
That's
a mustache. Of it.
we gotta get him. We gotta get him on the pod to talk about that because I mean that's sexy, dude. Now being able to do something like that. But JP France is a really cool guy. Very very family guy. So we'll just have to see what happens with this series. I mean, it's a great series, like we said. This could be a playoff potential, divisional series, wild card series, championship series. I mean, the Astros and Yankees have had a long run through the playoffs for a while, and the Astros have had the better hand, I would say.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, you've seen it. This postseason, the one that counts, and the Astros have dominated that.
Back to the bullpen. What is up, fellas? How's it going, man? Hey, congrats on back to the bullpen, being able to start your own thing. I think that's pretty cool, being able to do stuff like that. So congrats to y'all. Shout out to y'all. But the next segment, Angel. Chucha.
Yeah.
Your cap.
The cap.
Cap or no cap, baby? What kind of cap you got on? Actually, I gotta ask you this.
You know, this is one of the Dodgers minor league teams, the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes. They're doing a little, you know how they actually did like the Dulce little Hispanic heritage month, like Hispanic. Like they're gonna be the Rancho Cucamonga chaqueta. So like it's a charro suit with a pitcher pitching, you know. But I like it. It's a good hat. It actually sold out in an hour, so I was lucky enough to get it. So.
I mean, think about the charro. I mean, we wore that for your wedding.
Yeah, it was an Aggie wedding. I joked with my wife because it was a maroon charro suit. So.
Yeah, I'm sporting the Corpus Christi, the Ghost, the Lexington, the U.S. Lexington, the boat.
Yeah.
Shout out to Corpus Christi, USS Lexington. Being able to do a tour out there and you being able to spend the night on the boat too is pretty cool. I'd say that.
You did it?
I've done it. It's nice. Back when I was like maybe 8 years old.
Was it haunted or what? Did you feel
anybody as an 8-year-old? I mean, you're thinking about like ghosts and kind of afraid. Yeah, I was afraid. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie about that. But it is what it is. But hey, I like the hat, the cream color. I mean, kind of have a light blue right there. Of course, you got the airplane flying off the USS Lexington. So shout out to the Corpus Christi Hooks for this hat. But like we're saying, Cap or no cap, Angel, you want to start it off? What do we have?
So this was from you actually. So you have an Alex Bregman, who's been hot in spring, finished off really good by the way. Hit a home run in the Crawford box in the last game, but you said Alex Bregman gets selected to the All-Star game and wins his first Gold Glove. Wow, surprising he has not won a Gold Glove yet.
It's shocking, man. It's very shocking.
I think Alex Bregman's praised for his defense, so that not knowing that hasn't happened is kind of surprising. But I would say no cap on now, and I think it's a contract year for Alex Bregman. If he wants to get paid those big bucks and not go through free agency the way Montgomery and Blake Snow. I mean, but I'm not saying they had a bad season. You see Blake Snow won the Cy Young, but I'm sure if he wants to secure the bag, he needs to have a great season. So I would say no cap on that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go no cap too. I think this guy, like you said, it's a contract year for him. He hasn't been selected to an All-Star game for a while. I want to say since Cleveland, actually. I know for sure he won the All-Star game MVP in Washington. Mm-hmm. Cleveland, though, I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Not completely sure either, but I know for sure Washington being the first Astro to win the All-Star game MVP. I think that's pretty cool. And then, like you said, it's shocking that he hasn't won his first Gold Glove. But I mean, think about it. I mean, he's been dealing with Matt Chapman over there with the Oakland Athletics, and now he's
in the
gone.
National League now.
Yeah, he's in the National League now. So Alex Bregman has a shot of winning his first Gold Glove. He plays some good defense for the Astros over there in the hot corner. So we'll see.
You want to go with the next one?
I got you right here, and let's go. We'll stick it to the host and the co-host right here. Angel, you got Kyle Tucker will finally get his 30-30 season. And last year,
he was close.
Very close. I mean, it was up for debate, I would say. Yeah. Honestly, my opinion, he should have had it.
Yeah,
There was nowhere in the outfield. He just ran the ball. I don't think that's an error. But what do you think? What do you think?
I mean, it's hard to call. Especially like, wasn't there a throwing error or wasn't a throwing error?
It wasn't a throwing error. I think he overran the ball.
And just kept running.
And just kept going.
That should be a home run. Could be.
Yeah. It has to be. I agree. I think I told you this guy is a 5-tool player. I think this is the guy that the Astros should actually look into doing a long-term contract, try to get out of that comfort zone. I think getting a guy like Tucker into a long-term deal would be fascinating for the Astros because, like I said, he has it all: the contact, the power, the speed, the defense. I mean, he's gone one Gold Gloves.
Yeah, he showed it last year. Again, he was 29 home runs, 30 plus stolen bases. He was almost there. Like you said, it was just a questionable call at the end. Literally, last game of the season.
Last game
as well. But what do you think?
I got to go no cap. There's no cap. Like I said, I think this is the guy that he could do it. I know he doesn't. I feel like he doesn't want to admit he wants that 30-30.
Yeah.
But, and then come on. It's baseball competitiveness. You want to accomplish some personal goals. I think that's a personal goal. Getting 30-30. That's hard.
Absolutely. And then again, I think that will go a long way in this contract negotiation with the Astros, or extension. I'm sorry. He wants to go and actually looks good on a resume too. So the Astros do let him go to free agency. Well, I've done this, I've done that, right? Won this Gold Glove, won that. So it'll be on. I can do the next one. This is Mauricio Rios, and we're gonna kind of combine this one because the RGV Texans and Mauricio Rios had a very similar one. They both had, I think Framber and Javier have a bounce back season, and so did RGV Texans, and they both went on to say is that the AL title is in the AL title is the Astros easily if they both bounce back. And I would say on that one, I wouldn't say easily in regards because you still got the Seattle Mariners going to compete. You still have the Texas Rangers. I know they just won a World Series yet. Teams, I feel like projections are not giving them enough credit for having a chance to win the division. But I would say no cap on that one. I think they do bounce back. And then Mauricio Rios also said Jordan will be the MVP. Will be in the MVP race. Now, will he win? So I would say no cap on that one as well. He will be in the MVP race. Will he win it? It's be tough. So you got Juan Soto competing with the Yankees over there. I think that'd be his biggest rival, honestly. Juan Soto, Jordan Alvarez might be a neck and neck competition with them. And again, Juan Soto is a contract year as well. He's looking to get the next Shohei Ohtani contract, so very, very motivation for him.
I'll go no cap too. I think like they were saying, November and Javier have bounced back seasons. I mean, just think about it. That's without Justin Verlander too.
Yeah.
I mean, you're setting yourself up for success for not just for the season, for the standings, but for the playoffs as well. You could get 2022 Framber Valdez and Christian Javier. You could maybe possibly see the Astros back in the World Series again. So, yeah, I think if they do have bounce-back seasons, they will win the American League, go to the World Series, and then Yordan, the MVP race. I agree. No cap. Yordan Alvarez with Shohei Ohtani out. Nothing against Aaron Judge because I think Aaron Judge is actually battling a foot injury that's going to plague him for, some time. There's going to be some rest days that he's going to need. That's not going against his play. The dude's one of the best players in the American League. But Yordan Alvarez winning the MVP race, I think it's going to be close. Like you were saying, Juan Soto is another guy. I think another guy, too, would be Julio Rodriguez. It's electrifying. He's he's an electrifying guy. Same thing with Corey Seager. You see when Corey Seager is healthy, I mean, the guy looks like a dominant shortstop. You've seen it in the World Series for the Rangers. So it's going to be tough for the American League race. But I feel like Yordan Alvarez has a great shot of being in the running and actually winning the award. I think the last time the Astros had an MVP was Jose Altuve, and then from Jose Altuve, Jeff Bagwell.
Yeah, they needed to know. I mean, I feel like they haven't been really too much Astros to win MVPs in the first place, so having them will be nice for their fan base.
Yeah, and then last but not least, one of our guys that's always been with us for a while when we do our lives, Petras Joshua. Man, you had a lot on you, man. You had a lot. I couldn't put all of them, so I put some of them. Verlander will reach 140 innings this season, resulting in his option for next season being vested. Alvarez or Tucker will win the MVP this year, and the Astros will win at least 95 games this season. The Verlander one will reach 140 innings this season. That's pretty tough, dude, especially where he's at right now. I don't know when he's returning. There's a possibility he could be on a rehab assignment soon, but he's going to have to do, I would say, maybe 1-2 starts or 3 possibly, I would say, for that.
I would say cap on that, just on the Verlander part, because Christian Javier last year pitched 162 innings, and he pitched in 31 games. And did he miss a start or two as well?
Who's that?
Christian Javier.
When was that, though?
Last year.
I want to say he did.
He missed a start or two, and he only got 262 innings. Now, it's gonna be hard because
Yeah.
again, right now he's starting the season on the IL. He did get fortunate that it was just some some shoulder inflammation, but at the age at his age right now, I think I take it cautious, and we don't know what the future holds for Verlander. It might be it can also go two ways. It can be a great season, he gets his resting option, he gets thing, or it can be an injury plague season, especially with this early injury. So I'll be curious to see how his season plays out.
Yeah. Speaking of the guy, the man, of the hour, he's on.
What do you
Yeah,
say?
what's
What do
up?
you say?
Going? What he say? Hey guys, shout out to you, Joshua. Nice seeing you on the live with us, being able to comment. But the other two, Alvarez or Tucker, winning the MVP. Like I said, I think Alvarez has a great shot. I honestly think Kyle Tucker's a dark horse.
I think he had a good
Yeah,
chance.
yeah, I think he's a dark horse. I would say in the MVP racing for the American League, and then the Astros will win at least 95 games, man.
So,
Ooh,
I think the early injuries kind of play into that and might limit them a little bit early. But if they all get healthy and get a nice run, I could see it. But I'm gonna say no cap. I'm sorry, I'm gonna say cap on that one.
come on, give me no cap. Give me no cap. I think the Astros could win. He said, okay, if it's over under 95 and a half, but I mean, maybe I'm going under, but I think they actually could win 95
Okay.
games. I think it's straight at 95. I feel like that's a good number that they could be at. Um, just depends if Ronel Blanco, like I said, Ronel Blanco, with the way he's pitching right now in spring training, if he could continue pitching that, I say for the regular season, they're smooth selling. I think.
Yeah.
Same thing as JP France. Just depends on how they're gonna, the way they're gonna pitch. Depends on the Astros offense, of course. If you go looking through the seasons of the Astros, the first 2 months, a little sluggish. They're a little slow to get going. Obviously, sometimes they're doing third or fourth place. They're flirting with that fifth spot as well sometimes. But then later on, when it starts getting summertime, the heat gets going in Houston. They start picking up. I don't know. Maybe they like that heat, that Texas heat, man. Because I know for me for a fact, I just do not like it. I mean, 95. I mean, the hundreds especially.
Yeah.
I tried to change my ex name from Peter Joshua. Joshua, sorry about that. Nah, you're good, man. Don't even worry about that. Nice seeing you on the, like we said, on the YouTube live. But that's it for Cap and No Cap. What a segment that is. I mean,
Yeah.
well, of course, we'll continue doing that down the road. Like we said, we got new segments for the Astros coming this year. But what we got, Angel? What we got last?
Moving on to around the horn, a little Major League Baseball news. I think the biggest news after the Blake Snell signing is where would Jordan Montgomery go? And especially with 2 days before the MLB season, well, he finally has a home, and that is going to be to Arizona, which is really big for them because again, I
Mhm.
think everybody's looking at the Dodgers to win that division, and then maybe the Padres after that. But
Yeah.
you gotta keep ear with those sneaky snakes out there because uh, they had Eduardo Rodriguez, now they added Jordan Montgomery to their rotation, and that's with Zach Gallen already there.
Merrill Kelly as well.
Merrill Kelly Fat, who had a really
Oh,
great
great postseason.
postseason. I'm
Great
sure he can
postseason.
replicate that a little bit as well. So I think they have a chance to. I mean, you saw it in the playoffs. They have a chance to compete with the Dodgers in the playoffs. Imagine regular season. So I think that's a little dark horse in that NL West division. But he signed a deal worth 25 million, including investment player option for a second year. That was Jeff passing on the case as well. Yeah. So next year, if he meets his innings pitch, or actually this year, depending how many innings he's pitched, his vesting option could be worth 25 million as per Josh Haven. So he has a lot to play for as well. He is a little on the mid 30s side, so securing that bag will be it's pretty motivation here for the next year.
I think it was tough for him to get a long-term contract.
Yeah,
I think
Yeah.
that's just tough. Being in your early 30s, I don't think a lot of teams want to do that risk.
yeah.
Nothing against him. I mean, nothing against the posting he had. I mean, he shut down the Orioles. He shut down the Rays. He shut down the Astros. I mean, the dude deserves what he wants. If he wants a certain amount of money, by all means, you should go out there and try to get what you can. But I told you this when we in our last episode. I said it's either going to be the Yankees or it's going to be the Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
And like you're saying, that Diamondbacks rotation now is just scary. I mean, the NL West itself is already one of the best divisions in the National League, and now adding a guy like that, it's just going to show you how competitive you're going to be.
Who do you think out of the AL East and the NL West? Who do you think has it? We can even throw the NL East as well. Like, who do you think has the toughest schedule based on like their division?
Are we talking teams? Or are we talking Teams?
Yeah. So like because they're in the same division, so they'll
Mhm.
play them often, right? So because they play them often, who do you think has like the tougher like opponents in their own division?
I mean, in the West, I want to say.
Yeah,
That's what I was trying to say. Did I say East?
I think he said.
I want to say I did say East, but if I didn't, but the NL West, I mean, the Giants, they had a great offseason. I feel like everybody's sleeping on them.
Yeah, you can't even rule them out.
Yeah. And then, I mean, the Padres, too. I mean, the Padres are still going to fight, even though they gave up Juan Soto. I mean, they got some guys that are pretty good back in their pitching depth. I mean, Michael King's one of the guys. Yu Darvish, if he could perform at his rate, as well as Joe Musgrove.
And they put up numbers on the Dodgers too. I mean,
Yeah.
We see that second game score. I think it was like 15 or 13, 15, 12.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the toughest division, the National League. I wouldn't say the Dodgers have a walk in the park. I do see them as a favorite, but I mean, that's one of the toughest divisions. And that's going to say against the East, because the Phillies, the Braves, you really can't sleep on the Marlins or the Mets either.
Yeah, as well. So, but speaking of the Dodgers, they have a long-term catcher now. Will Smith agreed to a 10-year, $140 million contract extension per Jeff Sass. He becomes the first catcher to sign a contract length of 10 years or more. That's pretty surprising.
Wow.
Honestly. Like when I first saw the news, that was my reaction. Like you just said, "Wow!" Like honestly, like especially for a catcher, because I think with catchers, and there is some outliers like Pudge and Yadier Molina, but it's kind of like staying not consistent, but like the versatility, like being like long term. You saw Buster Posey was about only 10 years in the
he was at, I think he was 9 years.
9 years in the bigs, and then
Actually, 10 years. I thought you were talking about the contract.
No,
he signed a 9-year contract.
Yeah,
extension.
And then after that, he retired, but I guess that's their long term guy. And then the contract with Tony allows them to do this as well. So being able to sign guys long term. What's your input on that?
Oh, I mean, it's a great move for the Dodgers. I say Will Smith is one of the best, offensive hitting catchers in the National League. There's no doubt about that. My concern is what do you do with Austin Barnes? What do you do with him?
You got traded.
Yeah, I mean, it's a possibly trade chip. They got Diego Cartaya. He's like one of their number 1, number 2 prospects in their farm system. He's a catcher. So it'll be interesting what they do now. I mean, they got some trade assets that they can use and kind of maneuver when it comes to the trade deadline, see where they're at. Because I think the Dodgers are in win now mode.
Yeah, absolutely. But we do have some two opening day postponements: Brewers versus Mets and Braves and Phillies were postponed today. So so there'll be a total of 26 teams opening starting their opening day tomorrow or Thursday, depending where you're listening to us. But baseball's back, so we can't have baseball being back without our MLB predictions. So we haven't, it's a battle. I mean, because we take these seriously, and we always compete against each other. So
very competitive. There's no doubt about it.
Let's start with the American League. You know what? Let me go first, and then you go.
Go ahead. Go ahead on.
You can start with the National League. For the AL West, I do got the Astros winning the division. I think it'll be very tough. Again, the Rangers are still competitive. Mariners, I'm sure, are angry about what happened last year, so they're going to come firing, and they might have a future MVP as well with them. The AL East, give me the Orioles.
Okay.
I don't think it will be in a walk in the park either. Everybody's kind of like counting the Yankees out, but I think they'll compete as well. You got the Tampa Bay Rays as well, and the Blue Jays. Can't forget about them.
Yeah.
AL Central, the Twins. I think. Watch out for the sneaky Royals on that one, but
Royals.
Yes, watch out for the
you said Royals.
Royals, but I think the Twins will take that one. Wild card. That's a sneaky. That's a sneaky.
That's sneaky pick.
And then for my wild card teams will be the Rangers, Rays, and Mariners.
Is it that order though? Rangers, Rays, and Mariners. What was that the order that we're going with?
Nah, I just put them in random. It doesn't matter. But I guess you can
try to go order. Let's see what we got.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so that's the order.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, real quick, American League. I'm gonna go with Angel. I think it's gonna be tough, honestly. I got the Astros. I think, like you're saying, the Mariners. Their pitching staff is really good. I feel like that's one of the underrated. With Luis Castillo, you got George Kirby, Logan Gilbert as well. It's gonna be interesting. They're battling injuries too. One of their starting pitchers, Brian Woo's out.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be fascinating to see how that AL West plans out. But I do got the Astros winning that one. AL East, man. I mean, this was the East and the Central for me was kind of tough. Yeah. I didn't know really who to go with, but I think the Orioles are still going to be one of them teams that are going to continue their success. New ownership over there in Birdland as well. I think they're going to be a good team still going down the run, especially adding Corbin Burns. Yeah, starting rotation looks good. And then the Central, oh man, let me tell you this one. I had Twins. I had Guardians. I had Twins by maybe one game.
Okay.
Twins by one game. Losing Sonny Gray does hurt them,
Yeah.
but
So yeah, Pablo.
when you got Pablo Lopez, that guy, I believe, is going to turn into the ace that the Twins haven't had since Johan Santana, I would say. Yeah, that's a big take right there. So I'll go with the Twins. Target Field is one of the beautiful fields, so got to shout that out. But the wild cards, this is how I got in order. I got Mariners, Blue Jays, and Rays. Like I said, Mariners are going to be really good. Blue Jays, I mean, it's been kind of hard for them to kind of go through the postseason. It's been a tough ride for them. They were one out in back-to-back postseasons. But with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. looking thin, doing his offseason workouts and being the guy in MLB The Show now, I think he's going to step up. Bo Bichette, too, stepping up. I think their pitching's still good. Who is it? Kevin Gossman. That's one. Jose Barrios is another guy. I think they still got a good starting rotation. Bullpen right now with Jordan Romero. That guy is on the injured list to start the season, so that really hurts their closing role. But I do still think the Blue Jays could be that team to continue their success and make a run for the postseason. Last but not least, Rays. I really got them in the last spot this time. Usually they're always in the top in the beginning of it, but this time I got them at the bottom.
Okay. I mean, they did start really hot when they get like last year beginning, but then they kind of fall off a little bit. So could be. What about your rookie of the year?
All right, so sticking in the American League, rookie of the year, man. This kid, dude, he's been on fire, and it's Wyatt Langford.
Ooh, okay.
Texas Rangers outfielder / catcher. You remember we looked that up. So yeah, I think Wyatt Langford, the spring training he had with the Rangers, putting up crazy numbers too. I would say, I think that's going to be the guy that's going to win the Rookie of the Year. Cy Young Award winner for me. Go with Pablo Lopez. Like I said, I mean he's going to be. I think he's going to turn over to that true ace form. Because he was in that second spot of the rotation last year with Sonny Gray being the number one guy for the Twins. I think he's going to take that big step this year for the Twin Cities. Manager of the year, give me Joe Espada. I think Joe Espada is a candidate, and I think he is a favorite to win this job because it's hard to continue the success that the Astros have had through the seasons, man. I mean, from A.J. Hinch, from the Astros cheating scandal, Dusty Baker coming in and being able to continue this success, and now Joe Espada has a chance to do it. What Joe Espada right now is going to deal with in his early part in his season as a manager, injuries.
Yeah.
Injuries right now is what the Astros are right now. That's being the plague right now for this team. If the Astros win the division, if they have a great number of wins, like I said, if they go 95 plus, I think this guy could be a favorite to lock down the manager of the year. And I can't remember the last time the Astros had a manager of the year.
Right.
So, I mean, I think he has a great shot. Phil Garner?
I don't know, actually.
I know AJ Hinch and Dusty Baker didn't. So, and then last but not least, real quick, American League MVP. We've already reiterated this. I got Yordan Alvarez winning. Close second, though. Like I said, Julio Rodriguez is going to make a run for it. I mean, he had a hot second half of the season last year, trying to push for the Mariners again, that postseason spot. Like the Astros, like Altuve and Alvarez is the way they go, the Astros go. I say the same thing for the Mariners. If Julio Rodriguez goes, that whole team goes. So he's the heart and soul for that Seattle team, I say.
All right, it's good picks, good picks. You know, for Rookie of the Year, let's stick with the Rangers outfield. I got Evan Carter winning that one.
Okay.
And the thing is, for Wyatt Langford, yes, to make the team. Yes, he had great stuff, but I'd say they gave Evan Carter, Donis Garcia, and Luis Taveras more of the playing times that did maybe affects Wyatt Langford. So I do have Evan Carter winning it. He does have experience from last year as well, but that Rangers outfield is pretty stagnant. You got two guys that could be Rookie of the Years. You know,
That's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Trying to think when the Astros had that.
Maybe it was I wouldn't say your career, but I think. Well, I mean, you could even say last year, Kyle Tucker and I was really good at outfield play.
Well, I mean, they've had a good run at Rookie of the Year, winning the award, being at least top 5 in the voting. Yanner Diaz did that, so maybe there's another possibility the Astros could have another guy.
Absolutely. And then you got Manager of the Year. Give me, I'm on board with you here, Joe Espada. Not just because we're not Espada, I just generally think they could win it. And you kind of took what I was gonna say is if Joe Espada can defy this early season injuries and, like you said, win the division. I think he's a shoe-in for that position. And then for MVP, give me Juan Soto. Juan Soto hit 30 plus home runs with the Padres, and that's in pitcher-friendly Petco Park. And I'll put him in
Wow.
hitter-friendly Yankee Stadium. You could easily see about maybe an abundance more, like maybe
Yeah, I agree.
a 40 home run season or high 30 season. I think with Aaron Judge batting injuries, they're going to rely on Juan Soto a lot more, especially with their question marks in the rotation that they have. So they might have to score a lot of runs to win, and Juan Soto's going to be that guy that's going to get the proven opportunities because they still got a good lineup. Yes, sir.
Mhm.
Pitching could be, a little shaky, but they still have that great lineup.
Did you give us your Cy Young?
Oh, did I? Sorry, I missed that one. My
I think
Cy
you
Young,
did.
yeah, my Cy Young would be Corbin Burns from the Baltimore Orioles. I'm sure after that arbitration hearing, he won it out in Milwaukee. It still pitched well.
Yeah.
Now he's in a more better clubhouse, better atmosphere where people actually want him. I think that's motivation enough to pitch a lot better than Now compare the NL Central to the AL East. Competition's gonna be a lot harder, but
Yeah.
he has the stuff, he has the movement, and I think he has a really great chance to take the Cy Young in his first year in the American League.
All right, since you're on the road, hey, continue on, baby. Go with the National League. Well, what we got for the National League, real
So
quick?
for the NL West, give me the Dodgers. Yes, they're the favorite. It's not going to be easy to take the Astros. Will be. We kind of already talked about that, how competitive that is. It might be one of the strongest divisions in Major League Baseball. But when you have Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman anchoring that lineup, it's going to be pretty hard to beat them. And then they still have a pretty good pitching rotation as well,
Mhm.
even without Shohei Ohtani pitching. So I think the Dodgers win that one. Give me the Phillies for the NL East. I know
The
that's
Phillies.
yes.
Well,
I know.
I mean, credit to the Phillies. I mean, they beat the Braves in back-to-back
Yeah.
seasons. So yeah, I mean, I'm not shocking, but division champs.
I think with Ronald Acuna winning the MVP, and again, Matt Olson, Austin Riley, Braves are the heavy favorites, but I think the Phillies love being at. I think the Phillies love playing with a chip on their shoulder, and they were close to winning it. Uh, they were close to going to the World Series again. As a matter of fact,
Yeah, one win away. One win away.
So, I think Bryce Harper really motivates that team. He's really a leader in that clubhouse. So I think the Phillies have a really good chance. And I'm gonna say for the NL Central, the Chicago Cubs. I think they made some wonderful additions. They got Imanyanga from Japan. They re-signed Cody Bellinger. Uh, they still have their pretty awesome lineup as well. I think the Cubs was not a shoe-in. Again, I think the Reds could be competitive. I think the Brewers are still going to be kind of competitive, but I'd say the Cubs win that one. And then for my wild card teams, give me the Braves. I mean, even though I believe the Phillies won the division, Braves are still going to be um, in the postseason. Give me the Diamondbacks as the second. But now I'm putting them in order. So Braves, Diamondbacks, and give me. Let's see. Give me the Giants on this one.
Giants.
Giants, yeah, the Giants.
Interesting. I'm gonna go with the same thing. Dodgers and the NL West. I mean, like I said, when you add Shohei Ohtani, and you get better at your rotation too. Yamamoto, Glass now. Um, you got Betts, you got Freeman, you got 3 MVPs on that team, dude. 3 MVPs. So yeah, give me the Dodgers. NL East. I got Braves. I still got to go with them. I think their offense is just too good, dude. Their offense has to be at least, I would say, top 3 in Major League Baseball. There's no way it's top 5. It's top 3,
Yeah.
possibly number 1. I would say too. So and then adding Chris Sale, a veteran like him that's won a World Series and been there, done that, former Cy Young. I think it's a great addition for them. So I got Braves, Reds. Give me the young Reds. Ellie De La
okay.
Cruz, Christian Encarnacion Strand. Who's another Matt McClain? Even though he's dealing
he's
with an
gonna be,
injury. Yeah,
Oh, did you hear?
Yeah, yes.
There's no timetable for his return.
yeah, shoulder surgery. So yeah, they're hoping he comes back. But you got guys like Spencer Steer too. Who's the other guy? Not Nathan.
Oh yeah.
Something I can't think of his first name, but Marte is the last name. But he's dealing with a suspension too.
80 games.
Anyway, I mean they still got some good. I mean Jimmy Candelario they brought, they signed. So I think that's a good signing for them. Pitching is going to be their biggest part, I would say, for them.
But Andrew Allen had a really good year.
Definitely he did. So look out for him. Wild cards, real quick. Phillies, you can't count out the fine Phils. I think they're going to be the number one seed for the wild card. Number two, I got the Giants. Jung Ho Lee. Like I said, I think this is the team that's probably had the most underrated signing free agent class this season. Jorge Soler, the guy, you can see the way he hits, getting Blake Snell, getting Matt Chapman at third base. Defensively, that's a good pickup. He does have a good stick, so I think the Giants have a shot. Their rotation too is good. Chicago Cubs, I think they have a great chance of being that last wild card spot. They just missed it last year, so I think they got a great shot this year to be able to put up in that last spot of the wild card.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Since you want to tell me your rookie of the year, Cy Young manager, and MVP.
All right, so not because I drafted him on my fantasy baseball team, but I got Jackson Churio, rookie of the year, 5-tool asset player. I've done an article about this guy. Skinner, if you haven't checked it out, we do both write for them. So Jackson Churio is a good guy, 5-tool asset type of player that you would like to build your team around. So I got him winning the rookie of the year. Cy Young winner, give me Spencer Strider.
Ooh, okay.
The dude has quads for days if you haven't seen that already. But he developed a curveball, Angel. A curveball to his arsenal that he's already like one of the best pitchers in the National League. And then adding a curveball to your mix, I got to go with him. Manager of the year. This is going to hurt Milwaukee Brewers fans. Give me Craig Counsell. I think he does solidify that team to go back into the playoffs. Nothing against David Ross. He did try his best. But I think Craig Counsell puts the numbers up, does the right corrections to the lineups, to the defensive assets, pitching, scenarios, things like that. I think Craig Counsell winning the division, the Brewers, I think he's going to help the Chicago Cubs be able to either win the division or go back to the postseason. And last but not least, this was difficult, dude. I couldn't really figure out.
There's so many stars in the National League.
Exactly. It's not Shohei Ohtani. It's not Mookie Betts. It's Freddie Freeman. I think Freddie Freeman's going to have a great season for them. He's going to he won an MVP with the Braves.
Yeah.
Why not do it again with the Dodgers? The dude posted up, I think, career numbers in doubles last year, career high in that aspect. So I do see Freddie Freeman being able to do some Freddie Freeman things and be a big contribution to that lineup.
Absolutely. Those are really, really great picks, honestly. And again, this was a tough one for National League because rookie of the year for me would be the Yoshinobu Yamamoto. I think the experience he garners from he gained from Japan, although he did again, he did not have a great start against the Padres, pitched one inning, but I say once he settles in, give me like a Kodai Senga. You remember Kodai Senga? He started off pretty questionable, and then ended up pitching really well. And another guy was Blake Snell, and I know that because I had my fantasy team last year, and I was debating should I drop this guy, but turned it around, won the Cy Young. So if you can shake the early game jitters out, look for Yamamoto winning rookie of the year. And for Cy Young, Spencer Strider was a great one. Give me Zach Gallen. I think Zach Gallen, if he doesn't fall, like he can remind me a little bit like Framber Valdez from last year as well. Started off really early after the All-Star break. Zach Gallen pitched a little bit better than Framber Valdez. Really slowed down, but he had great competition with Blake Snell, who really got hot late. Yeah. And I think what team was Cy Young is, I'm not saying they forget early on, but after the All-Star break, if you're going out, on a really high note, you might sneak in a little bit more votes than like.
Consistency is key. Consistency is key.
Absolutely. And then for manager of the year, I think if postseason came into play, Torey Lovullo would have been a shoo-in. But again, the votings only take the regular season into account.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with what he did with Diamondbacks last year, more eyes are going to be on Torey. So look for him winning the manager of the year. I think he gets a little bit more of that recognition he deserved. What he did with that. Not just rookies, but like with a young squad. And
the baby D-backs, maybe.
Yeah.
The baby D-backs.
What he did with them, taking them all the way to the World Series, no one had Diamondbacks going to the World Series. I think if you look at to go to the Fangraphs projections from last year, they'll be near, not at the bottom, but
nothing against them.
Near.
Nothing against them.
But
that's that team in March Madness, I would say.
Yeah.
That busted everybody's bracket.
Not the 16th seed, but like the 14th, 15th seed that nobody expected to come back from behind.
They got a good squad though.
And they beat the Dodgers. So remember that.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna say Acuna goes back to back for the MVP.
Wow. Acuna
You know,
going back to back.
I don't see
You heard it
Acu-
here first.
I don't see Acuna slowing down. What he did was phenomenal. 60, almost 70 plus stolen bases. Put up the home run numbers, the RBI numbers, the runs numbers,
Yeah.
batting average numbers. There's not much more you can say about this guy. And I think again, I don't see him slowing down one bit. I think he could. He has. I'm not saying he has a better season, but he has a. I'm sure he can mimic this past season he did. So
Yeah.
if he does that, Acuna's going to be. Acuna will win the MVP.
Do you think he recreate 70-40?
Well, I'm not going to say out of 70, maybe 60, 50. I think
Gosh. 60-50?
no, I'm sorry. So
I'm about to say.
I was thinking
50
just,
stolen bases?
I was thinking 50 stolen bases. My bad. Home
60
runs,
home
My bad. I was thinking maybe home runs, maybe like in the 30s. So 30, 60 type of guy. My bad. I think we were just talking about stolen
I mean,
bases.
he does that. Yeah, give him the MVP already. Just do it. But we got one more thing before we sign off. Of course, in our last episode, we did show what we're giving away. Let me pull it out. I don't know. My phone might knock my beverage down, but real quick, let me grab it. We got our Framber Valdez bobblehead that we're giving out for opening day as our giveaway. Of course, we'll have the rules and things like that. Follow here and follow there. Real quick, I pulled it out for nobody has seen. But what do you think, Angel? What do you think about this?
You have to put it out, but
I'm gonna pull it out.
all right. But it's a nice one. It's a nice
one
one.
of my favorites, I would say, of the Astros have done for him.
Yeah.
Recreating that 20-something year kind of thing.
It's a really nice plaque on the back. Kind of, you can say a little clear one. You know.
25 years
Yeah.
consecutive quality starts. Commemorate that.
Yeah, absolutely wonderful bobblehead.
They got the dreads on him pretty good too.
Yeah, absolutely.
He cut the dreads off.
Yeah, I do remember. He has a new haircut. Maybe that helps in the second half of the season.
Does that count as like an asset skill, you think?
Absolutely. I don't need that nicknames going anywhere.
I'll put it up in a minute though.
Well, there's just putting that up. I think that's pretty much it for our show. It was again, we're live from the White Rhino. First time here. We're trying to do it a little bit more often. I think this was a really good episode. It was really fun with the flow and everything. And we love the atmosphere here at the White Rhino. It was a pretty nice event, pretty chill. You know, it was really good, a good drink. So thank you for hearing out. You know where to follow us, where all your podcasts are available: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everywhere you have your social media, Twitter, Instagram. Well, our reels have been pretty good, successful. So we're checking out as those TikTok, whatever's trending, we are there.
Yeah, we'll have a lot of content coming this season. I mean, man, it's the 2024 season. Baseball's back, like Angel said. This is opening day eve, but like Angel said, I mean, shout out to the White Rhino Patio and Cocktail Bar out here in Houston, Texas. Houston's EaDo, Easton area. 319 Milby Street, Houston, Texas is where you can find them. There's a great atmosphere to come around for pregame and postgame drinks, especially when you get to park for here for free. Let me reiterate that, free.
And to worry about that downtown parking.
Exactly. And think about opening day prices. That's not going to be good. $60 to park your car right there when you could come and get some great drinks and some post-game drinks especially, and then ride the Metro Rail too. It's a great experience. If you haven't done so, just try it once. It's really nice. Get to see a little bit of East End as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And really great food, really great atmosphere. Come on down.
But like Angel said, one more time, the White Rhino Bar, they do have, if I could find it real quick, opening day celebration. Like Angel said, it's a good cause benefiting the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. DJ Tony Hive is going to be here for the pregame shenanigans on 1 p.m. start time, 319 Milby Street. Shout out to our alma mater, Milby High School.
And they will have DJ, food vendors, cocktails, and of course, baseball.
So yeah, come out here to the White Rhino Bar. And then last but not least, I got to give a shout out to my wife, my family, our family, coming out here to support us too. When it's 8:59 right now, we really appreciate.
On a work day.
Yeah, on a work day especially too, man. We really appreciate them. Family's big over here with us especially. So shout out to them. But shout out to my wife. Shout out to my cousin making these koozies right here. Full steam ahead. If you want one, just let us know. We can get your info and send you one out. But my cousin does some great work with some supplementation stuff. So you can find her at Don't Press Me actually on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. She does some good work. She does cup shirts, things like that. So if you need anything done like that, please let her know. But Angel, last thing. Anything else before we sign off, man?
No, just thank you. Appreciate us for following. Appreciate you for us staying put. We had over 40 people join into it. Love the we always love the love and support, and just I always say, big things are always coming.
Yeah, like he said, I mean, get ready. Astros opening day is here. The season is here. Baseball's back. Get ready for it. Get ready for the ride. And we'll talk to you at the end of the series. Talk to y'all later.
Peace.